Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Will Smith calls President Trump the darkness and Obama the light in insane viral rant. Two-time Oscar-nominated actor Will Smith made a strange announcement about politics in our country. He talked about how Obama was a wonderful light, and Trump was the darkness. However, the era of Trump is just the darkness before the dawn. He apparently has been watching way too many movies recently. This is the purge, right? This is the cleanse, this is what happens. This is the natural reaction to the amount of light that came into the world when Barack Obama was the president, said Smith to a crowd. We had to expect that, the pendulum, was going to go the other way. As a cleanse, this is the darkness before the dawn, said Smith. I feel very, very strongly that we are shifting into what the next stage of humanity is going to be right now. It's just the SHT has to get stirred up, in a way. We're seeing it all, said Smith. It's going to be really interesting to see how humanity reacts to it, and it's going to be a fucking mess. It's going to be a mess, but it's the mess in the cleanup. It's the mess and the purge before that new, real light shows up, said Smith. What is going on in his head? President Trump destroys 185,000 pages of government regulations in one dramatic movement. President Trump announced his incredible success at eliminating unnecessary taxes and government regulations. He stood next to two large stacks of paper. The first was 20,000 pages and represented all the regulations in 1960. The second was 185,000 pages and represented all the regulations in 2017. President Trump took a pair of scissors and cut the red tape. One of the very first actions of my administration was to impose a 2-for-1 rule on new federal regulations. We ordered that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. You heard me say that on the campaign, many, many times. As a result, the never-ending growth of red tape in America has come to a sudden, screeching, and beautiful halt, said President Trump. Instead of eliminating 2 old regulations, for every one new regulation we have eliminated 22. 22, that's a big difference. We aimed for 2 for 1, and, in 2017, we hit 22 for 1, Trump said. Every unnecessary page in these stacks represents hidden tax and harmful burdens to American workers and to American businesses, and, in many cases, means projects never get off the ground, said Trump. By ending excessive regulation, we are defending democracy and draining the swamp. Truly, we are draining the swamp. Unchecked regulation undermines our freedoms and saps our national spirit, destroys our company. We have so many companies that are destroyed by regulation, and destroys obviously jobs, he said. Now there is accountability. So together, let's cut the red tape. Let's set free our dreams. And, yes, let's make America great again, said Trump. Eminem releases perverted rap about Ivanka Trump in the trunk of my car. The rapper Eminem made headlines when he released a freestyle rap against President Trump. He then whined to the media when Trump didn't acknowledge it. I was and still am extremely angry. I can't stand that motherfucker. I feel like he's not paying attention to me. I was kind of waiting for him to say something and for some reason, he didn't say anything, said Eminem. He hasn't given up. He released a new album filled with anti-Trump lyrics, hoping for some attention from Donald Trump. Some of the lyrics were particularly disturbing, with references to rape. But because it is insulting to Trump, liberals are cool with it. Someone get this Aryan a sheet. Time to bury him, so tell him to prepare to get impeached. Everybody on your feet. This is where terrorism and heroism meets, square up in the streets. This chump barely even sleeps. All he does is watch Fox News like a parrot and repeats. While he looks like a canary with a beak. Why you think banned transgenders from the military with a tweet? He's trying to divide us, he rapped. He then went after Ivanka. Donald Duck's on is the Tonka truck in the yard. But dog, how the FCK is Ivanka Trump in the trunk of my car? Got to get to the bottom of it to try to solve it. Must go above and beyond, 'cause it's incumbent upon me, 'cause I feel somewhat responsible for the dumb little blonde girl. That motherfucking baton twirler that got dumped in the pond, he rapped. The album has gotten terrible reviews up rocks and the Fa 5. And much to Eminem's dismay, Donald Trump has yet to comment on it. Trey Gowdy eviscerates FBI for conspiring against President Trump. During the House Judiciary hearing, Trey Gowdy drilled Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein for the FBI's blatant bias against President Trump. The reason we have special counsel is because of a conflict of interest. We don't like conflicts of interest because it undermines people's confidence in both the process and the result, said Gowdy. And then, lo and behold, those that are supposed to make sure there are no conflicts of interest seem to have a bit of their own, said Gowdy. Gowdy went on Fox News and attacked the FBI more for their bias. This is a really bad fact pattern, said Gowdy. I hate it for Rod Rosenstein that he's the one explaining it because he's not FBI official, Peter Strzok, and he's not Deputy FBI Director, Andy McCabe, and he's not former FBI Director, Jim Comey, so he's having to do a little bit of cleanup. But these are really bad facts if you care about an impartial, objective Department of Justice and FBI, said Gowdy. I'm still trying to figure out why 3 FBI agents are discussing politics in the Deputy Director's office, because you're not supposed to discuss politics on federal ground and FBI agents aren't supposed to engage in politics for Hatch Act reasons, added Gowdy. But the notion that 3 bureau agents would be conspiring or plotting on how to handle the outcome of a presidential election is the opposite of what you want in an objective, dispassionate, neutral FBI, he said. Do you think he's right? MSNBC host says her calling Trump a bully and worse isn't an opinion. Left-wing media outlets like CNN and MSNBC love to try to criticize Fox News, claiming that Fox's programming is far too reliant on opinions and not straight facts. Of course, the liberal news coverage is even more based on opinions, but they have the gall to call their opinions facts. This was shown recently when MSNBC was covering President Trump's speech to the FBI National Academy. Reporter Peter Alexander trying to drum up some controversy by stating about the president, "What do you say when you're speaking to that community that's under attack? We look forward to hearing that." Obviously he's gone after all these different groups. Oftentimes not afraid to say it to their face. What does he say on camera? We'll be watching, replied Stephanie Ruhle, delivering what is entirely an opinion. I mean, Peter, you know the answer. President Trump, and I'm not speaking this isn't an opinion, if you look at his pattern, he has a pattern of bully behavior. What he says when they're not in the room. He goes after them super hard. And then when he walks in, it's hugs and kisses. Despite denying that they were saying opinions, they carried on, with Tim O'Brien commenting, "You know why he does it, right? He's a demagogue. This is classic demagoguery. He is trying to convince people watching him on TV that he's the only one who should be believed." Then Stephanie tried to smear Trump's entire staff with her opinions, remarking, "Okay, but the demagogue isn't living in the castle alone. He is surrounded by senior advisors. And take Kellyanne Conway and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who have made it clear Sean Spicer style they're there at the pleasure to serve, to please the president. Do you think it's ridiculous that MSNBC called Trump a bully and then claimed that it is not an opinion?" Watch Joe Scarborough accuse Trump of having a mind meld with Putin. MSNBC's Joe Scarborough keeps getting lower and lower. He showed some clips of President Trump and Vladimir Putin saying vaguely similar things and then accused them of having a mind meld and being one person. Boy, I tell you what, Willie, that is some message discipline. You've got to really respect those two guys just for no other reason to have the message discipline that they have. It's so jarring, and we're going to be introducing Peggy Newton in a second here, said Scarborough after playing a couple of clips. But for those of us who grew up as conservative Republicans in the height of the Cold War, it really is jarring to see Donald Trump in a minute meld with a man who runs a country that invades other countries, said Scarborough. That shoots down passenger planes, that assassinates journalists, that assassinates political leaders, pretty jarring, but he's doing it, and as David Ignatius says, that facts are hiding in broad daylight, said Scarborough. Former KGB agent Putin knows exactly how to play Donald Trump. He says exactly what he knows Donald Trump will respond to, responded MSNBC's Willie Geist. Oh my God, he plays him like a fiddle, said Scarborough. And in fact got a phone call from the president yesterday, said Geist. Chuck Todd whines that Republicans make him feel unsafe to share his political biases. There has been a lot of news recently of overwhelming anti-Trump bias in the FBI. The FBI is supposed to be dispassionate and neutral and objective in their investigations, but have shown time and time again that they have a bias against the person they are doing an investigation against. MSNBC's Chuck Todd tried his hardest to minimize these valid concerns. He attacked Republicans for demanding that people be objective. He then complained that these same Republicans stop him from showing his own political biases as a news reporter. By the way, this feels like a slippery slope, this thought police stuff. Where does it end? Does that mean FBI agents are not allowed to have any political opinions? They've done it to our industry, in absurd levels, and it was a campaign tactic. And now they're doing it to FBI investigators, whined Todd. Making your opposition, or even in this case the observers, the press, part of the story, responded AP White House reporter Jonathan Lemire. Just like the FBI. The investigators. They're not taking a side, claimed Todd without evidence. But the Trump world, and the right in particular, both sides have done this, but particularly the right and Trump world have sort of made the FBI or the press the story and used it to attack them and undermine credibility, said Lemire.